10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And we are live. Good day, Chaplain. I believe it's noon where you are. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well today. Yes, it is noon, just about a little after, and it's a chilly day, and we are expecting up to 6 inches of snow.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Yes.
So I want to know, how is my favorite chaplain in the world doing today? I haven't seen you since, I believe, Monday.
Yes, and we missed you last night. We had on the AMA call, I mentioned to Brother Emilio how wonderful it is to work with you. And we had two faces I had never seen before.
Wonderful.
And by you not being there, I think it has been since I don't know when. Because were we on Monday?
You and I were on Monday. Yes, we were.
So that's the last time. That's the last time then that we have been together. Excuse me.
Absolutely. Always fun working with you, Chaplain. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. And I have to say, you are my favorite chaplain in the world. And it's wonderful to walk this journey with you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you. And today you are going to be sharing amazing information about how to become a professional military chaplain. That's something that I've always wondered about. So I wait to hear, what the steps are, because I believe there are many individuals out there who would fit the profile so well. And that is just a very honorable route to take for one's life and for one's work. So over to you, Chaplain. Tell us more.
Well, thank you. It can be a long or a medium long or I'm going to say medium long road to become a professional chaplain, particularly in the military. There are many types of chaplains. There are. I mean, and when I speak of chaplains, I'm speaking of professional versus community chaplains. And let me define let me define what it means to be a community chaplain. You can become a community chaplain through a certification that many states, particularly New York, offers, and it basically means that you serve your community wherever your community is. That's where you serve as a chaplain versus a professional chaplain. A professional chaplain usually has three things: an undergraduate degree. And if you're going to be a military chaplain, I don't know what the conditions are for a prison chaplain, for an example, or a police chaplain, or a state chaplain. I'm not certain of what those requirements are. But for a military chaplain, you have to have an undergraduate degree. And you must be in seminary or be working.
Yes.
No, you've got to be in seminary. And it usually, I applied, I started the process in August of, actually it was July 4th of
4th of July.
Yes, 1984. I had to report to training on the 4th. I had to be on the base on the
Mm-hmm.
4th of July of
Oh,
1984.
wow.
And there is a boot camp even for officers. That's a
Wow.
good 6 weeks, 6 to 12 weeks long. And let me show you the class that I was in. All of us went through the boot camp. I don't know how well you can see that, but all of us went through the boot
Oh,
camp.
I love that photo.
Yes,
In the front row.
yes, that's because I'm short.
Sounds like
Shorter,
me.
shorter, yes. And during boot camp, you learn how to salute. Believe it or not, there's a technique to saluting,
Yeah.
and you learn to whom you salute, and that would be anyone that has a higher rank than the one that initiates the salute, and then the higher rank returns the salute. And even when I served in Okinawa, uh, I one thing that we I don't remember being taught was that we had to be watchful of stickers on the windshield of a car, because if it was a senior officer in that car, you also had to salute the automobile. Yes. So that was one of the things that I found quite unique in my service. Again, if that's true in the Army or the Air Force or the Marines, I do not have that information. But in the Navy, that
Yeah.
is something that they are very particular about. And when you are passing a senior officer, you have to you have to say by your leave. Is that correct? Yes, which really means permission to pass.
Oh.
Uh, and when the colors are going up, the flag is going up. Whether you are walking or driving, you have to stop. And it
Oh.
doesn't. Oh, I tell you, I would get caught every morning on my way on my way to the office. Those
Yeah.
doggone colors. And when I walked to the office,
Yeah.
particularly when I was assigned to North Chicago, and that's right off of the lake, and it's cold and the wind is blowing, and for that whole minute that seems like an hour that those doggone colors were being raised, I had to stand and salute in the direction of the sound. Oh my goodness. And I don't know how that would happen,
Yeah.
because or if I was in my car, and we heard those colors, we
Yeah.
had to stop. So
Wow.
it's very interesting. But after going through the weeks of, because I went in July and I got back in late August,
Yeah.
so that had to be 8 weeks uh,
Mm.
of rigorous exercise and learning how to march, and learning how to use your compass to find your way, and uh, learning to carry up to a 50-pound back pack, and still you got to keep on moving. And it was summertime, and perspiration was running down my back and running down my face, but I kept on moving, kept on moving. Now you must know how to swim. At the time that I went into the Navy, we were required to do the 18-foot tower jump and
Oh.
tread the water. Now you
Mhm.
have to do the jump
Yeah.
and use your uniform to for a flotation device. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, for a
Oh.
flotation device. and then you have to swim the length of the Olympic pool.
My goodness.
You can say that again. But the discipline is valuable. I truly believe that if our children uh, went into the military, that they would garner a discipline that often lives with us all the days of our life. Now I've gotten kind of slack, my home is clean, but it's junky, you know. And I sleep with books in my bed. I mean, there are books all over my bed, and I sleep on the edge. Now, that would not be tolerated in the military. Your bed has to be made and nothing on it, and your quarters have to be. You ought to be able to eat off the floor of your quarters, and it's a good discipline, and you learn how to walk, you learn how to talk, you learn how to carry yourself so that you're always looking in tip-top shape. Even when you're sick, you look well. And then after one graduates from seminary,
Yeah.
You or even before that, you must have the endorsement of your denomination. And there's usually one person, we call that person an ecclesiastical endorser, uh, who is often in the national setting of the denomination. And he or she
Yeah.
must sign off on you becoming a military chaplain. And there are others that must be signed off by ecclesiastical endorser also.
Yeah.
But those are the steps. And once that ecclesiastical endorser gives the okay, then what's next is ordination, because it is important to be ordained before going into professional chaplaincy, at least in the military. And once I was ordained, the same year that I graduated, 1985, I mean, God was really with me. The pieces just fell in place by the favor of God. I was ordained in November of 1985, and I did my first assignment in 1986. And I was attached to the base in North Michigan. Oh my goodness. It's a Navy and Marine Corps base. Now, in my opinion, the Marines and the Navy SEALs are top trained.
Yes. Yes.
And particularly our Navy SEALs. My grandnephew actually was a Navy SEAL. See, I don't know after you have finished that particular assignment if you're still a Navy SEAL, because once a chaplain, always a chaplain. Is that also true of the Navy SEAL? Once a Navy SEAL, always a Navy SEAL. I know that's true of the Marines. Once a Marine, always a Marine. So those are specialties that require rigorous training and clearance. I have what they call a secret, one level secret clearance, and I think that the specialties could have a top secret clearance. I know in the case of my grandnephew, he has continued, even though he is retired, he has continued being called upon by upper echelons, and there are times when, most times, I'm going
Yeah,
to say all the time, we have no idea where he is in the world,
I see.
or what
Hallelujah.
he is doing, because it is top secret.
Mm.
So he is on the top of my prayer list, that God will keep him
Yes.
safe.
Amen.
Uh, the last time I heard from him, which was his birthday, I sent him a happy birthday and was looking forward to him coming home. And he sent the message back that he would not be able to come home. He has
Oh,
been called to Ukraine. And that
oh,
was all he could tell us, that he was
yeah.
called to the Ukraine. So we
Wow.
keep him in prayer. But even though
Yeah.
he's not a chaplain, he is he has a different kind of endorsement. But we're talking about chaplains today. So I was attached to a base that is about 40 miles north of Chicago, of Detroit. There on the water, up there. I have found that most assignments are near water, near
Yeah.
the lake, near the ocean,
Wow.
uh, near a streams. There's water somewhere nearby. uh, for the Navy, and I tell you, I was trembling in my boots. Uh, Many times I was the command chaplain, and what that means is I'm the only chaplain. That's really what that means.
Yeah.
And,
Wow.
and to be the only chaplain, brand new to the system,
Yeah.
it was unnerving. On the one end, my family and my church were very proud of me, and
Yeah.
on the other end, I had a steep learning curve,
Truth.
but
Yeah.
we made it. We by the grace of God, and through the years, I've gotten through the years. Go the other way when the camera is just the opposite. Through the years, I have earned 3, 6, 9, 12 ribbons, and
Fantastic.
this one that is yellow with one star on a red background is called the National Defense Ribbon. Everyone gets the National Defense Ribbon, and the one star uh, means 10 years. And I don't think I can get a second star because I didn't make 20 years. But that's what the stars mean. There's one here that has 4 stars, which indicates I have been overseas at least four times, and they call that out conus,
Conus.
OUTCONUS, out conus.
Conus. Oh.
Um, the the duties and responsibilities of the chaplain
Yeah.
is to facilitate the celebration of the sacraments as
Mm-hmm.
appropriate, organize worship services uh, in creative, interfaith, trans-denominational, and ecumenical ways. I am what they call a liturgical chaplain. That
Mm.
means that
Program. Mm.
I have the requirements
Yes.
to do these things. I have the endorsement to do these things. Offer religious and spiritual guidance to service members, their families, fallen
Mm.
service members' families, and affected uh, civilians
Yeah.
who are usually the civilians are usually members of the of a military family, or a veteran family. Uh, Regularly prioritize visits with patients with families
Mm.
whose loved ones have passed.
Yes, that's a hard one.
Very hard.
Yeah.
When we attend the military services at the cemeteries, we are to stay with that service member
Yeah. Wow.
till that service member is buried. If I had that experience once, standing in that cemetery all by myself, standing there waiting for the folks to come. I know it's probably just an hour, but it seemed
Yeah.
like a day. It seemed like a day, waiting for them to come and bury my fellow service member. But
Yeah.
that was one of the requirements, that you stay with the body until the body is buried. I twice was assigned the task of presenting conversations, roundtable, workshop, seminar, all of the above, in the area of mm,
Did you have different topics?
alcohol and substance abuse
Oh,
and
good.
domestic violence. A
Another
service
important.
a service member uh, can be disciplined for all three of those. Uh, Domestic violence is not a Navy value. And remember when the captain, and let me make a distinction here, a captain in the Marines is like an O2. A
Oh,
captain in the Navy is an O4. Now let me put that
oh,
into perspective. When I graduated from boot camp, we graduate as ensigns. Okay, EINSIEN, I think is the way it's spelled. And you have one stripe.
you.
Then you are elevated uh, to a lieutenant JG, lieutenant junior grade. That
Oh,
is a stripe and a half.
ah,
Then that's an O2. The ensign is an O1. The
yeah.
lieutenant junior grade is an O2.
Two.
Uh, an O3 is a lieutenant. You have two stripes the same size
Mm-hmm.
that you wear on your sleeves. Where is my, oh, mine is in the cleaners, or I could show you.
Yeah.
And then when you are elevated to lieutenant commander, that
Yes.
is stripes and a smaller stripe in the middle. So you've got the middle stripe, which is thinner or
Yeah.
not as wide as the two stripes on either side.
Oh,
Then when you become, and that's an O4. When you become a commander, you have three stripes on your shoulder, all the same size.
nice.
That
Amazing.
is an O5. And when you become a captain,
Yeah.
you have four stripes, all the same size. And that is an O5. And I mean an O6. And when you become a admiral, now
Yeah.
you're an O7. So
Mm.
one star admiral is O7. Um, and you every year you have an annual run, an annual examination an annual run that you have, depending on your age, that
Yes.
you have to complete at a certain amount of time, like um, 1.5 miles in 15 minutes, for an example. You've got to run it.
Yeah.
Um, you've got to do X number of sit ups and X number of push
Mm.
ups and X number of pull ups. And once a year. I think they've changed that to twice a year now. I said, they are
Oh.
really, they are, they would, in 2023, I wouldn't have made it. I just had, no. Uh-uh.
Well, when you went to boot camp, Chaplain, I was only 4 years old. So in 1984, I was 4,
Oh
and
my goodness.
and I was thinking, when you spoke about the boot camp, I was thinking, I'm going to ask you, what's your favorite? Do you like push-ups or sit-ups, or what's your favorite part of that exercise? What was your favorite
My
part?
favorite was the sit-ups.
The sit-ups. Oh,
Yes,
good, good.
because it was a team. Uh,
Yeah.
a team player would hold your feet
Yeah. That.
and count for you. So I
Okay.
didn't have to keep count.
Okay.
And woo.
You mean you wouldn't want to go through that this year?
No, I would ask God for another assignment.
And he would answer, of course, as he always does.
Yes, but
Quite
I
a
tell you,
journey. Wow. Yeah.
it was rich. I was a reservist, which means
Oh,
that I went once a month which means that I drilled once a month,
yeah.
and I was on active duty 2 weeks out of the year. And did not dream that I would be recalled to a war, but I was recalled to Desert Shield, Desert Storm.
Yeah.
I remember the day that the war actually started. The incredible gospel singer James Cleveland died.
Oh,
We got the news that day that James Cleveland had died. It was a sad day for me, and because I knew that the world of music, African American gospel singer, had experienced a tremendous loss.
yeah.
And sometimes I would listen to his music when I went back to my quarters, and Shirley Caesar, and I was blessed to have by then collected a lot of music that kept me encouraged, because as I
Yeah.
said, 9 times out of 10 I was the only chaplain in the case of during Desert Shield, Desert Storm. There were other chaplains, but they were all white men.
Yeah.
And more often than not, men do not believe women can be
Yeah.
called. They put that restriction on God, and many of them go out of their way to make certain that the
Yeah.
women don't forget. I
I
don't
know
think you
all
ought to
about
be here.
that. Yeah.
Right?
I know all about that.
But it is an amazing career,
Yeah.
and I would do it. I would do it again if I were uh, 45 years younger.
Oh my goodness, Chaplain, you bring so much value, and I know that you've touched my life so deeply since we met. I can just imagine how many lives you touched in your years as being in service as a chaplain. And I want to say to the audience, for anyone out there that feels the calling to go into this direction, please reach out to Chaplain. I did make her contact details available in the description of this live. And I have to say, it is a calling. It definitely is a calling.
Absolutely.
People don't know this, but to go into the ministry, to go and into the chaplaincy, it's a calling. It's not something that you just decide one day. It's something that really presses on your heart, and it
Absolutely
is a
right.
man-driven industry, definitely. But there is a calling on women and men. So I want to encourage anyone in the audience, reach out to Chaplain.
Please
She's
do.
there to with open arms to accommodate you and to give you the information that you need, and follow the calling. Follow the calling.
Absolutely. Because anybody that goes in uh,
Yeah.
as and perceives it as a job,
Yeah.
it's in their head, and not and we need people uh, in the chaplaincy who have a heart for everybody,
Yes.
for
People.
the gay, lesbian, transgender, bisexual, gender non-conforming community, for women, for men, for all of the ethnicities. God calls us to serve, to be of service. Well, we serve God, but to be of service to everybody without bias, without bias. So whatever our biases are, it only hurts the service member. And I think that we have to be, and the same for pulpit ministries. Any of your biases will hurt your congregation, and to be sensitive to your biases and to work on your biases is a sign of strength and connectivity with the Holy Spirit,
Yeah.
uh, and submission to the Christ that died on the cross. I have colleagues who are of a different persuasion, but if you are Christian, it is your duty to acknowledge the Son of God as the Savior of the world, who died on a cruel cross,
Yeah.
and um, and was risen, and is now at the right hand of the Father. That is the foundation to
Awesome.
being a Christ-like, a follower of Christ, a disciple of Christ, and ownership, taking ownership of one's salvation. It takes all of that. Yes, it does. Because without the
That's
cross, there is no Christ.
we love what you bring to the table, Chaplain. Love and acceptance is really key for
Absolutely.
all people. I remember that Jesus wasn't always in the synagogue. He was out there with the people, no matter what they were busy with. He loved and accepted them all so that they could, really walk in his truth. And I want to say hi to my beautiful friend, my brother Spencer Jones. He has liked your live, Chaplain. He has been listening in, so thank you so much for that. And we will be back on Monday with more interesting stories from the Navy and more interesting information, and also information on Space for Grace. So see in the comments, Chaplain's contact details and details about Space for Grace is in the description. Make sure you make your way over to that URL, read up about it, and she's going to be sharing about that when we come together again next week for our Monday Live. Thank you so
Yes.
much, Chaplain. I love you so much and
Thank
appreciate you.
you. Thank you. And thank you to the listening audience and the viewing audience. Thank you very much. God bless you. Pray for me,
Yes.
and pray for my colleague. Not that she may not need it. She seems to be on top of the world. And I thank
Amen.
God for that. I really do. Amen.
Amen, sister. Thank you,
Until
Chaplain. I'll
Monday.
see you next week. Bye-bye,
Looking forward to you.
guys. Bye.
Hi, my name is Jose Escobar, and I'm the founder and CEO of the Connected Leaders Academy. We're the #1 fastest growing community and tribe of some of the highest level entrepreneurs all around the country and around the world. We're in 36 states across the U.S., in 11 international countries, and over 240 plus members, growing every single day. And I'm honored, excited, and I'm glad to say that I'm proud to be the official sponsor of the Meticulous Moments podcast with Juanita Cap. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm excited for this journey.
Hey everybody, my name is Patrick Rude. I'm the owner of Rude Financial Services, a proud sponsor of the Meticulous Moments podcast, hosted and directed by the beautiful, strong, and intelligent Juanita Cap. I cannot tell you enough about what this woman has done with this podcast and the effect that she has had on me and all of the other sponsors and people that listen. Don't miss it.